Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and WomenOnTV.tv. So it's always nice to have last-minute interviews, but the reason why I accepted this one and why I liked it, because this series was funny. So let's start with the ladies first. Introduce yourself, and then Cole, and then tell us what this is, what the people are about to see, which actually, for the U.S., premiered today. Talk about that. Oh, you guys froze.
Oh, so you just froze for perfect timing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Chye-Ling Huang. I co-wrote and co-star in the series Life is Easy.
And my name is Cole Jenkins, and I also co-wrote and co-starred in the web series Life is Easy, which is now available on Reverie TV in the US, which is amazing for us because we're just a little old team in New Zealand, which is great.
Well, let me tell you why I like this. I was there, if you guys, I don't know how old you guys, I was there when Muriel's Wedding came out. This reminds me of that. Has anybody told you guys that?
Not yet.
It's interesting that they don't.
Very familiar with.
I was there, when both stars who are now major U.S. stars, when that debuted, and it was funny. This reminds me of that. Smart. I'm going to give my ratings. My ratings are the 4 E's. It's entertaining, it's engaging, it's exciting to watch, and it can be emotional. So the 4 E's in my book are the best that you can get. So this is really, really good that you guys created that. So hats off to you guys on that. I really admired this. I thought it was smart, sassy, quick-witted, and I love the fact that it came from, New Zealand, one of my favorite places.
Thank you. Yeah. It's pretty cool. That's a good rating system. I think anything you watch should kind of have all those 4 E's as well. And I'm glad we achieved that. That's awesome.
Well, that's why I came up with it. It should. Anything could happen, which is good. Talk about how long did it take to write this, and how did you two actually meet?
We met when we were about 12 or 13. We went to the same intermediate school, but we connected as friends when we both auditioned for drama school. So we did the same 3-year degree. There's 2 acting schools in New Zealand, and we went to the one in Auckland. Then we just lived together and became besties pretty much straight off the bat. Writing this, I think, took about, a year-ish, 8 months?
Yeah, from conception, I guess, of the idea and getting it flowing to actually recording stuff, about a year. Yeah.
It was a very quick turnaround though, because we were sort of in this odd position where we had pitched, and we had pitched for development funding to kind of rework it and workshop it. But that year, because there was a change of government, they didn't have any development funding, but they did have full production funding. So our proposal quickly changed from a development proposal to a full production proposal, where we had to write the first 3 episodes, and we only had a month to do that. I think it was pretty insane, but yeah, it was pretty fast once we got going.
Yeah, and that was when we brought our producer Ruby Rehana Wilson on board. And because when we went for development funding, we just put her name down on the funding application, say, oh yes, this is our producer, she's a close friend of ours. And then when we got the go-ahead for production funding, we were like, by the way, Ruby, do you want to produce this web series for us? And fortunately, she said yes.
You know what's funny about that, and also creative on your ends, that's how you do it. You do what it takes to get it made. And I've had to pick films for the Hollywood Film Festival and things like that. So anytime I saw a series which was sort of like this, I thought it was really good that we could do that. So again, good on you. This is also something that I would put in one of my friends' film festivals in Wisconsin, because it's creative, really good. I love the facts of how you guys made it into a series. It's easy, it's funny. And people, whether you're straight or not, will still enjoy it. I mean, hats off to you guys for doing it. And anytime any Kiwis do anything, I'm on board to see it and do it. So I just think everybody's creative over there to begin with.
I think, yeah,
I'm
we
lucky
are
we
lucky.
have that reputation.
Yes, New Zealand is a little bit of a buzzword around the world at the moment, and we're happy to ride that wave. That's awesome.
Talk about getting it on a network. How did that happen? That's not necessarily easy. What were the challenges that you two went to?
No. Well, I guess it was, I think we were lucky because Chye-Ling has already worked with our local national broadcaster, TVNZ. She's done short documentaries and other series with them before. And so we already had a foot in the door there. So when they said, hey, we're looking for new content, do you have any ideas? We came up with a few ideas to pitch to them, and they liked Like Is Easy. So we went with that. And yeah, like Ling said, it was just for development funding at first, but then it got pushed for production funding. We smashed together a proposal in a very short amount of time. And they were like, great, we love it. Let's sign on the dotted line and make this thing. So yeah, it all happened. I think we were very lucky in terms of the timing that it happened so quickly. Usually it takes a lot longer, but yeah, for us, it just seemed to be the right story at the right time. And people wanted to see
with the right relationships and the right people. So that was lucky. But with Reverie, that was all Ruby. So our producer, we were just putting out feelers, because the good and bad side of being funded in New Zealand to create something. So we're commissioned by TVNZ, and then we had New Zealand On Air funding, which is our major TV funders that, you know, is run. It's basically the only place that you can really get money in New Zealand. But with all of that, the caveats are that it's geo-blocked form. Nobody else can see it. So we really wanted to find a way around that so that we could get it out to the world. And so we now have Reverie who host us, but they have to geo-block it to New Zealand. So TVNZ has exclusivity for New Zealand, and then Reverie has the rest of the world. But I think, yeah, that led us to find some place, a platform that was not only willing to host us and was, you know, had good quality products and a good reputation, and someone who could serve the story well, but also somewhere that aligned with our values in terms of who we wanted to see the show, who we made the show for, and yeah, someone who could really stand behind the heart of the show. So Reverie was a really good match for us because they tick all of those boxes, and they were just really nice people, super approachable, and really exciting new service as well. I think it was cool to be able to be one of the first Reverie originals to be hosted on the site. So yeah, it had a lot of appeal for us.
So for the audience that has not seen this yet, could you briefly describe what the synopsis is?
Sure. So Life is Easy. It's a body swap comedy drama web series, kind of like Freaky Friday. So we've got two best friends who one's a gay white man, one's a straight Chinese woman, and they've known each other since they were kids, and they think that if they were to swap bodies, they could be each other. They basically are each other. And then through some crazy series of events, they happen to swap bodies. And then they really have to deal with the fact that they maybe don't know each other quite as well as they did, and have to deal with certain prejudices against people of color, women, queer people, all those sorts of things. And but in a really light, funny, relatable way. In a nutshell, that's kind of it.
Well, you know what I like about this? The premise has been done before, but what you two created has never been done before. That's what makes it unique. That's why it's engaging. That's why it's entertaining. That's why it's exciting, and that's why it's emotional. You two have created something. You've taken a format that's old and made it, and have expanded it to something much more exciting, much more broad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we wanted to do something that communicated all of the things that we were feeling around race and gender and inequality and being a marginalized person writing for your own narrative. But also we did at the forefront of what we wanted to do is to make it accessible and entertaining. And we didn't want it to be a drag to watch. We wanted people to watch it for fun. And if that's the only thing that they got out of it, then that was great. But if we could slide in, the values that we really hold dear, then complete or streamlined.
What's funny about this is that this could actually be something taught for improv. It is that good where actors would love to do something like this. This is something that they could, definitely they sink their teeth into. I'm not that actor. I'm never interested in doing that. My job is to help promote things that are funny, creative like this, which is what I love to do. But I was looking at it like, wow, if I was an actor, I would love to try to do that and pretend to be someone else. But I work so hard on being me that I'm happy with the way I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that way, it was a great. We wanted to challenge ourselves as actors and creators and writers as well. So we put sort of challenging scenarios and stuff in, but at the same time as we're trying to be someone else, it really was, the characters really are a developed, heightened versions of ourselves, or at least versions of ourselves who we used to be, maybe, that we've grown from. So as much as it is a challenge to explore being someone else, it was equally as challenging to kind of put a mirror up to yourself and realize some of the things that maybe you used to do and bring that to a character as well.
It sounds like you two really just went all out and went overboard, which is the best thing to do, meaning you just went for it. I don't think there was anything that you couldn't do. What's the craziest thing that we could do? Does a guy really do this? Does a woman really do that? And that's enjoyable. That's the fun part of, again, being an actor and an actress, right?
Yeah, totally. I think it was really fun to dive into characters that were super problematic as well. Because I think as two minorities, as a gay man and a Chinese woman, we often are casted in roles, or we often see roles that are kind of the woke minority, teaching other people how to be and how to act. But these characters are ridiculous. They are basic and stupid, and they have a lot of learning to do. So all the things we threw in there, it always had to be fun for us, because I think my kind of mantra with creating work is that being a creative is super hard. It's super hard to maintain. It's a really difficult lifestyle. So if you're going to do it, you might as well make it fun for yourself, because you've chosen to do this. So you might as well have the most fun possible. And I think that's what really kept it alive for Cole and I through the process.
Was there anything that you just couldn't do? That's just too much. I can't do that, but let's try it. Was there anything? Because everything is written on the page. It really goes back to the writing. Writing is brilliant.
Oh, thank you. No, well, yeah, there were certain things. What we had were, when we were storyboarding, writing stuff, we put these little ridiculous ideas that we thought, this would be really cool to do. I hope we can do it. And we just chuck that on the wall, and then we try and make them fit. I don't really remember there being anything that we were like, oh, can we do this? I do.
I had this whole pool sequence. I wanted the first thing to be a giant party with a pool. And then the body swap moment, I really wanted them to be surrounded by people and then just be standing still alone. And it kind of cuts in and out of the people being there and then them being alone. And then they're kind of hallucinating and tripping on drugs. And then they both fall into the pool at the same time. And this whole underwater sequence where it's kind of bodies kind of meshing and melding. Probably would take some post-production stuff to, some graphics, it's all their bodies are squishing together. And then it all comes out. It's kind of Beatles-esque.
What's funny about that?
Psychedelic sequence.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to.
You know, what's funny about that is that I see I could see a series on that. I'm sure you guys have thought about that. Is there anything coming up to follow this or what?
I think we're
Well,
hopeful for a season 2. If it's received well, I think we'll go for it. I think for us, the project was such a huge learning curve. It was the first and biggest project that we've done of this kind. So it really took a lot out of us. And I think there was just so much learning to do that we sort of like needed some space to absorb. Okay, like if we were to do it again, if we were to do season 2, like what would we do to streamline the process, just to make the writing better, to make the arc better and stronger, and the side characters more fleshed out, et cetera, et cetera. So I think, yeah, we're kind of riding the wave of the release. And I think if it goes well, we'll look at a season 2. Season 2 might look quite different though. I think I have some kind of sidebar ideas that are a bit, yeah, don't want to reveal too much at this point.
Well, you know why I say that, because you can't have that scene that's not in there go to waste. That's why.
yeah.
This is very true. You have a point. There's still that itch that needs to be scratched.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just need to ask for more money next time. So we can have more post-production budget for CGI.
Yeah.
So Chye, you were talking about being in Los Angeles. What were you doing in Los Angeles at the beginning of the year?
So at the beginning of the year, I went over. So I got a manager out there last year. So I'm with Trademark Talent now. Devin Jackson's my manager. So I went out for pilot season, which was super fun. Went for 2 months. Did a lot of meetings, a lot of reestablishing connections there. I'm working with a script advisor on a feature film who is living in the States at the moment. So it was nice to just touch base, and I think I've got a lot of friends who are Kiwis who went over for pilot season, and they kind of do so every year. So now I've kind of joined, now that I've got a manager, I've joined that train, and slowly kind of chipping away at hopefully getting some work over there at some point. I mean, yeah, since COVID, it's sort of all up in the air, but yeah, it was really nice to kind of dip my toe back in there.
Was it your first time coming to the US, or had you been before?
I'd been before in 2018. 2019, sorry. Yeah, I'd been the year before.
Cole, have you been over yet?
I have, but not since I was 18. I went in 2008. After I graduated from high school, I worked at a summer camp in the middle of Missouri, and then I traveled around the States, and I just kind of traveled around and backpacked around the States for a month, or just over a month, meeting some friends, spent all my money, and then only had just enough money to pay for my taxi to the airport to get back to New Zealand. And that was I've wanted to go back, and actually my husband and I were planning on going this year, but that's all obviously changed.
Oh.
So, yeah. What's funny about what you just described? I did that. I call it my effort year. I was tired of doing interviews. I'm like, the hell with this. I got rid of my great car, my apartment in the Hollywood Hills. I said, I'm going to Europe. I went to Europe for 23 days, and I wanted to stay in a hostel because I had never stayed in a European hostel. I was disappointed because I was the only one who stayed in the hostel. I'm like, where's everybody else? I wanted to know what you were talking about. And I was like, I mean, how often does a black man from the US go and just say to hell with it and just go around Europe? And then on the way back, I went to Spain, and then I wanted to go to Ireland. And I'm like, no, let me go to Scotland to see one of my friends. So I went to Scotland, and good thing I didn't go to Ireland because I didn't have enough money. But I had enough money. What the exchange was, it took out more than I thought it was going to take out from the ATM.
Yeah.
The time I was at the airport, I'm like, okay, I got enough money. I got like $100. I really have 100 euros left. I had nothing. So I was like, what? I'm holding the receipts. I'm like, how is this possible? And I'm like, well, I'm going home anyhow. It didn't matter. So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I know what that feeling is like. Yeah.
Totally. And yeah, it was quite cool, and like, you know, sleeping in airports and like buying like a Subway foot long so you could have half of it for lunch and then half of it for dinner. just really making that money like work.
That's funny. So
Yeah.
when do you can you guys see each other, or are you guys kind of quarantined too in a way? How's that working on New Zealand?
No, not at all. We're footloose and fancy free over here.
Yeah, because you're the only country in the world who's done it right. That's why.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah. No, I've been paying attention. I mean, good for you guys, you know. So the thing is, when
Yeah,
you're doing everything, who were some of the people you looked up to inspirational wise? Filmmakers or screenwriters? Chye knows.
we did.
To be honest, our biggest inspiration was a web series called The Gay and Wondrous Life of Caleb Gallo by Brian Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the merch, you know, we're big fans.
Oh,
and yeah, it was just, oh, we should have worn them today. Damn it. No, yeah, so we basically wanted to do exactly that, which we didn't manage to, you know, rise to that level quite yet. But I think the tone and style of it is sort of very deceptive. It's very lo-fi, it's very low key. But I think about halfway through you realize it's about something that's really exploring something that you don't see every day, non-monogamy and love and relationships, you know, and sexuality being completely fluid, and how we kind of deal with different types of relationships in the modern day. But on the surface of it, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious and quirky and strange and offbeat, and it really draws you in and then leaves you kind of like at the end. Yeah, we just love it. That was my one.
And Cole?
Yeah. And we also had, I think we also drew a bit of inspiration from other series like Please Like Me, which is an Australian TV series on Netflix. I think they've got 4 seasons. It's another queer comedy series, but it's so funny and realistic and relatable. But its heart is just so strong. It's a heartbreaking series, but it's so gay and fun and light. And I guess that's where we wanted to come from as well. We wanted this series that was fun and silly and a little bit surreal and a little bit stupid, but it's the beating heart throughout of it was what really kept you watching and kept you entertained and really made you feel for these characters in these situations. So yeah, that was a big inspiration for us as well.
I give you social media links, and then Cole, you right afterwards.
Oh, I think it paused a little bit.
Oh, Chye, your social media links?
Oh, yeah, Chye-Ling. I don't know if Chye-Ling's there. Are you there, Chye-Ling? Oh.
Yes, hello. I didn't catch that last bit. My social media links, my Instagram is just Chye-Ling.Huang. It's pretty standard. And that's pretty much all I use. You can find me on Facebook. Trademark Talent or Auckland Actors is my agents. I also have a company that I run. It's called Proudly Asian Theatre. So if you want to check that out, it's got like a bunch of my works on there.
I do.
Pretty sure we're the only proudlyasiantheatre.com in the world, so that should be pretty easy to find.
I actually want to see that. And then, what was some of the other documentaries that you said you did? Was it short films or whatever? Because I'm always interested in promoting those different film festivals and things like that here.
Yeah, totally. So I did a 3-minute documentary called Asian Men Talk About Sex, which is pretty much exactly what it says on the cover. So we interviewed 8 different Asian men about sexual stereotypes and their love lives, prejudices around dating, and different perceptions of themselves and others and just navigating that whole hot mess as an Asian male in New Zealand. So that was really fun, very sexy and good times, feel good sort of doco. And then I did a 2-part series called the Han Chronicles. So that's about my dad immigrating to New Zealand in the 70s. So it's very fun, 70s throwback. It's about his relationship with my mum, who was a white girl from Christchurch. And it's about him navigating the different cultural elements of New Zealand that he's not used to. So it's just a 2-part, short and sweet, lighthearted comedy romance.
Will you send it to me? I want to see it. I already like the premise of both of them.
Yeah, I will. And
then Cole, your social media links?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Coley_J, COLEY_J. That's basically it as well. Me and my husband also have a joint couples Instagram called The Real Gays of Auckland.
Yes.
As a joke to make fun of those types of people. And it's really just a whole thing about our lives and our cats in our house. Yeah.
And also popular now. It's like popping off.
Yeah.
I said it's super popular now.
Yeah, a little bit. Life is Easy is also on Instagram, Life is Easy Web Series, and also on Facebook, Life is Easy Web Series as well.
So for Cole, for you, I'd like to take that further. That would be interesting because that's something that I would put on the Art de Montague for our site that we have out of Los Angeles, which helps independent filmmakers, the arts and things like LGBT. So that would actually be pretty good.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Awesome.
Those are, because we have 5.6 million views a day and counting. By the time we put this up, we'll be at 5.7 most likely.
Yeah.
One of those things that we like to do things differently. And then out of Tennessee, I don't know if you made it out of there when you were camping around from Missouri, but with 3.6 million views a day out of Tennessee alone.
Yeah, wow. Oh, amazing. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Between
now and our Labor Day, September, I hope to get to 10 million views. We shall see. It'll definitely be at 7, that's for sure. But my goal is to get there by the end of September by 10 million views. If not, I'll get it before the end of the year. But that's my goal. But again, I like to find those gems that people aren't seeing, like what you two created. Like, the hats off to you guys. Again, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's emotional, and it's exciting to watch. And you can't get any better than that. So congratulations on that. And then Chye, I love your name. If I ever have a daughter, I'm stealing your first name and giving it to her.
I love that. I condone this. You have my full support.
So give the website one more time and where it can be seen for everybody.
So you can see Life is Easy on Reverie.tv. You can either view it for sign up and view it for free with ads, or you can sign up to become a premium Reverie member, and then you get no ads and exclusive content.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for you guys. I love this. I knew I was going to. I didn't know I was going to set it up today. The 2 people who canceled, that's too bad. Hey, you're one with.
Yay. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, and please send me those docs because I'm all about that. You have no idea what I'm going to do to you too.
Yeah, it is so good. The Chye-Ling's work is amazing, and the Han Chronicles is just so beautiful because I know her dad, and he's just the most wonderful man and the most incredible chef. So you'll love it.
Well, it'll be one of those things where I'll have you two invited over to our Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. You'll love what we're creating. It's set up for to have created, environmentally friendly, sustainable technology that no one's ever seen. It's sort of like the Disney World of what we're creating.
No way. That's
makers,
incredible.
LGBT, like that, you guys will love what we're creating. So you guys will get a special invite over, all right?
Please. I can't wait.
All right, thank you so much. Hey, Movie Reviews and More, Women on TV.tv, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. Please check out the series. It's hilarious. It's funny, and I just love what they did. It makes me want to wish, not fully, that I was an actor, because I would have loved to have been in this. So for that,
Thank
if
you.
you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. We will see you next week.